Alright, so back again. It's kind of cold out, and I actually have no idea what to talk about because, yeah, I have no idea what to talk about because I didn't really think about it. I thought I was gonna have more time today, but that didn't really happen because I was kind of doing some stuff and go really quick. Now I'm trying to take out these gyms while I'm trying to make a video here, and I gotta record something because I'm running out of things. I have one left to upload today, so I need to make something today. And I'm not really gonna have as much time tomorrow because tomorrow is 8-hour day, 8-hour shift. So I gotta figure out what the hell I'm doing. I also gotta knock this stupid Garchomp out, please. I swear this game gives you the worst fucking teams to make you sit here for an extra 5 minutes. Like, it recommends, like, my 5th strongest Terrakion all the time, and it's like, why? Why not just recommend the fucking best one? The one that's, like, way higher level, has, you know, it's stronger, it's gonna take less time, but no. They fucking make you use this stupid shit, and it's like, man, I really think they do that shit on purpose. But let me kill this slacking really quick, and then I will stop slacking and figure out what the fuck to talk about. I actually reorganized my list of things to talk about because it got so fucking messy. It was like, because I had some that I did and some that I didn't. So it just fucking... Oh, it did not. Okay, there we go. Now it updated. I also went through yesterday because I had some time and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I still want to make that video about the deli tier. Hold on, let me put my real Terrakion in. Oh, because it's damaged. That's why. But still, there were better Terrakions than that, and it didn't give a fuck. Anyways. Made that deli product tier list thing. I kind of took... I tried to remember every single thing we have at work, which is kind of scary that I know that many. Which also, by the way, I could also say this. I was there at work yesterday, as I mentioned, and my coworker, he had I think it was Finlandia Swiss, if I remember, and he's like looking at the code, and I just told him the code. I just knew the code, and he's like, "You know that already? You memorized that?" It's like, yeah. And it's not even like one of the codes where it's like, okay, oven gold. We go through so many oven gold turkeys that it's just kind of ingrained in your brain. But like, that is like something that's not, it doesn't sell as much. And I know that code. I have like weird ways to memorize all the codes that we have, because we have a lot of fucking codes. But I have like ways to kind of memorize some of them. So like the Finlandia one's kind of weird because it's different than most of the other codes, because most of them start with the same number. I'm not gonna say a specific number because maybe that doxes me. I don't know. But we have the same codes for, or we have like the same kind of numbers that start the code for a bunch of things. But for the Finlandia one, it's different. And so that's kind of how I remember it. And a lot of the times I actually find myself, like when I punch in my ID at work, I actually find that now I don't even really think much about the numbers. I just know the locations to punch. Which sounds fucking weird. That's just kind of how it works. And sometimes it happens with when I'm entering stuff into the scales too, because I mean, it's like 9 number, well, I guess technically 10 numbers, right? But it's kind of like a square filled with little squares. So you just kind of remember, okay, like center, top left, top right, you know, that sort of thing. I feel like I'm kind of getting to that point, and it helps with memorizing some of them too. because I could be like, okay, center, top right, bottom, or yeah, center, top right, bottom left, or center, bottom right, top left, something like that. Pretty weird way to memorize things, but it works. I mean, I've memorized some of this shit, so that's cool. Let's put my nice Shundo jacket Snorlax in there. And then I'm gonna go knock out this gym too. Because there's no reason for this many blue gyms to exist around here right now. So, shit, I didn't actually get the topic to talk about. I just got on a tangent about fucking deli things. So let's see. What could I talk about here? I want it to be something kind of brief. You know what? Okay, so I actually tried to record this once before, and it was going fine at first, and then it got really fucking bad, because I just completely lost my train of thought. It was like a kid that fell off his bike, which, like, you know, it's not like he flipped over the handlebars or anything, but he did, like, fucking, he just kind of, like, fell. I was like, is this kid okay? And I was kind of thinking about that while I'm trying to record this video, and then I just completely got derailed. And yeah, and then also it was like two other things going on at the same time. So I ended up just kind of scrapping it. And I mean, I've already been yapping for 6 minutes. I haven't even gotten to my point yet. But I think maybe I'll just do this today because it's something I know I can do. So I got a drawing tablet. How long is it? It's probably been about a month. No, it's been longer than a month even. It's been like 50-ish days since I actually started. So I have been, oh my god, what is happening in my game right now? Jesus. I have been working on trying to learn how to become a better artist, which is why a lot of the thumbnails just kind of look the way they look, because it's me drawing pretty much everything. Because when I first started doing this, a lot of the thumbnails I was just picking something off of Google Images, and I had like a couple shark pixel arts that I made, and those kind of sufficed, but I didn't really like how the thumbnails looked, and I felt like a lot of the time they didn't really look that good, because a lot of the colors would clash, or just the picture didn't look great in the background. Resolutions were kind of all over the place when looking at random shit on Google Images. So I did not particularly like those thumbnails. And I decided to start doing what you see now. Well, at first I was doing, basically, I was making these, and let me heal my Pokemon really quickly. I was making these, and the point of it all was to draw the shark and then have like some sort of pixel art thing to draw. I started with, I think it was the reusable bags and paper straws video, and I started doing it with that because I just kind of had this idea, like, I never know what to draw every day, because I've been trying to draw every single day, and I never know what to draw. So I was like, what if I just start drawing stuff for my thumbnails? Because then that keeps me it keeps me consistent, I guess, because I'm doing it every day. I'm not letting it slide for a day and then I don't do it the next day, because that's always what happens when I start trying to do something daily. It just ends at some point, and then I just never pick it back up. So I'm trying to do it consistently, and it ain't easy, but I've been still going strong after like 50 days. I think there might have been one day where I like didn't do one, but then I made up for the next day. But I've been trying to do it consistently, and I was initially drawing with the mouse, and I was looking at, there was this one particular video which I thought was really interesting, and it's like a 30-day challenge of doing pixel art. And I think the guy's name, it's been a while since I watched this video, but I think his name was Will Hess, if I remember. Maybe I'll put it in the description if I can remember what it was. But basically, this video of this guy going through his kind of pixel art journey for 30 days and seeing how much he could improve. And there were a couple things in that video I found really interesting. Like usually sometimes tutorials, or maybe not tutorials, but those sorts of like challenge videos, they don't really work super well for what you want to do. Like sometimes they just don't map one-to-one. But I found a lot of his advice really kind of resonated. I didn't buy any of the courses he mentioned, which maybe would have helped me more. I'm not sure. But honestly, I don't think I would have had time for the courses that much anyway. So, not really worth it. But, for example, he mentioned that he bought Sprite, and he said, it's worth the $20. And I wasn't sure about it. I was using this, like, kind of forked version called Libre Sprite for a long time. And I thought it was fine. And I said, fuck it. You know what? I can't figure out how to, like, compile it, because it's, like, open source. So you can, like, technically compile it for yourself for free. But I was like, I can't figure out how to do it. I'm just going to drop the $20. So I dropped the $20, and I was like, this is probably not going to be worth fucking $20, man. I'm going to, like, be like, I'm going to regret buying it. And I do not regret buying it at all. It's a fucking amazing program. Works super well. And it's kind of cool because the whole aesthetic of it is pixel art. But it's very smooth, very, like, it works well. The keyboard shortcuts feel good to use, and just the whole thing in general feels good. And there's so many options, but it doesn't feel, like, overwhelming. Like, when I started using DaVinci Resolve, it was fucking so overwhelming with the amount of things that exist. It takes a lot of time to be able to understand, like, how to do something, because there's just so much, and there's so many things. Sony Vegas, for all of its fucking shitty flaws, it was at least kind of beginner friendly, that you could just kind of drag something in and you had a general idea of how things worked. DaVinci Resolve, little complex. I love it. It's fucking great. I'm glad it exists. But, like, it is a little complex at first. And I felt that way with a lot of other, like, applications too. That's why a lot of people sometimes just like to start with Paint when they're, like, drawing stuff. Because even though Paint is a shitty program, it is pretty simplistic, and it's not hard to draw stuff on Paint. But, kind of getting back to where I was, I definitely think Sprite was worth the money. And additionally, I gotta put a mold trace. Hold on, give me a second. Additionally, I found myself really kind of resonating a lot with some of the things later on that he says in that video. But he also mentioned a bunch of tutorials that he thought were good. And so then I started looking into those afterwards, and just kind of ending up in this pixel art rabbit hole, sort of. And I've been watching this one tutorial series, which is pretty extensive, to be honest. And I've finally been getting through a solid chunk of it. But thing about this tutorial series, like, I think the third episode maybe, he started talking about how he recommends a drawing tablet. And I kind of always thought that drawing tablets are these really fucking expensive devices that are really only, like, if you're specializing in digital art. You're not just kind of a guy trying it out, seeing if it's good. But he mentioned the one that he uses is, like, the smaller one, which is called, I think it's the Wacom Intuos is the one that I have, the one that he uses. And he mentioned that it's a pretty good tablet, and so I was kind of like, you know, I'll look into it. I'll see how much it is, because I do have my own money now. And I looked at it, and it was $40, and I was like, it's $40? What? So decided to take the plunge into getting a drawing tablet, and wasn't sure how it was going to end up. But I think I've used it for long enough to kind of understand a lot of the things that I like and dislike about it, and whether it's actually worth it to get a drawing tablet in the first place, or maybe you should just stick to mouse and keyboard. I definitely would say for pixel art, it's not as important to have a drawing tablet, because like you're just kind of drawing or you're kind of just putting down pixels. But definitely for digital art, I think that the drawing tablet is very useful. I mean, you can definitely get by with just keyboard and mouse. And I mean, you do use the keyboard, kind of a spoiler a little bit, but you do use the keyboard when you're using the drawing tablet anyway. But I just find that it's harder to draw with a mouse. And I mean, you can draw stuff with a mouse, but it's a lot easier drawing stuff with a pen and a tablet, you know? So I think for me personally, that already is kind of a thing, but it was mainly to use for pixel art, which you don't really need it for. And I wasn't sure how it was going to all play out, but first thing I will say is that it is a pretty small device. It's not bad. And when setting up the drivers, I mentioned this in the MacBook video, but it's actually easier to set it up on Mac because I didn't need to restart. But on Windows, it's a little bit of a pain, but I still got it done. And it worked pretty well. Didn't really have any issues ever since I installed the drivers. But it was a little tough for me to use at first because I don't really have like a traditional desk. You know, I don't have that sort of just place you sit down, you put your legs under it, and you have this big open area. I basically just kind of have like a ledge sort of that I can't put my legs under, so I kind of have to, yeah. It's not a great setup I have. Really not great, but it kind of works. And so that kind of puts me in an awkward spot because I didn't want to put it where my mouse was because number one, I don't really have the space. And number two, I kind of felt like it was going to be too far for me to really draw correctly. So usually I end up having, what I did was I basically got a clipboard that I have and I just put that on my lap and put the drawing tablet on my lap, which is not great. It's better to have a stable surface, but it gets the job done. And most of the time I actually find myself drawing stuff in bed anyway, because I'm so tired after work. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like go lay down in bed and do this. And so it's kind of it kind of is hard for me to make full use of it sometimes, but it gets the job done. It's definitely better than using a fucking trackpad, I can tell you that. So yeah, initially I was surprised at how many features it has for it's a $40 drawing tablet. It's not really that expensive. I just kind of expected it to be pretty bare bones. First off, there's no batteries or anything in like the pen. It has no batteries. It just uses, I think, electromagnetic whatever. So pen is awesome. Comes with extra nibs as well, which I didn't even find out for like a month. I was like, oh, that's nice, because I kind of fucked up one of my nibs already, so it's nice to have extra ones that I could use. And it just feels pretty good. It feels like a regular pen, and it also has buttons on it too, so that's kind of nice. There's like one where it kind of scrolls, and there's another one where it functions as right click, and I found that to be really cool. I enjoyed messing around with that a little bit. I don't use the right click and scroll that much, but it's nice to have. It's nice to know that it exists. And I'm trying trying to think what else. I really was just kind of blown away at how good it feels. It's not the same as pen and paper, but it feels pretty similar. And also there's 4 buttons on the tablet itself, which is really nice because they, by default, they're set up to be like shortcuts for, I think it's shift and like shift alt, control, that sort of thing. And I think scroll wheel, I think, is the other one. So it's nice to just kind of have those because sometimes you don't want to go and press those and whatever. I mean, usually I just kind of have my hand on the keyboard anyway when I draw. But it works well. It works well. And it's pretty feature complete for what I expected for $40. It isn't wireless. I guess there's that, but like, I mean, do you really care that much if it's wireless? The only thing is that my MacBook has all USB-C because it just has 2 Thunderbolt ports. That's it for the I/O. So what I ended up having to do is I fortunately already had a USB-C to USB connector. So I ended up using that and it worked fine with the tablet and with the MacBook. Although there is one issue I'll get to later. But apart from that, just, yeah, overall the feel was good. The setup was pretty good. And at that point it was just kind of, okay, well, now I just got to start actually using it. And so I started using it. And admittedly, it's not like the most necessary thing for pixel art, but it does feel very good to use. It feels much easier to get the lines that I want with it. And it just feels more fluid, more easy to use, especially compared to like a fucking trackpad. So I found myself just really enjoying using it. I even actually use it for DS games, which I'm going to touch on in one of my main channel videos that I'll eventually get to when I have time. But I even started using it for DS games because it actually feels fucking amazing for DS games. Like, it almost is better than real hardware because your hand does not have to be on the screen. Like, it doesn't have to be covering the screen, or the stylus doesn't have to be covering the screen in order to see what you're doing. So it's really nice if you're emulating DS games. It's fucking great for that, and I probably will be using it a lot in the future for that purpose. But back to the drawing portion. It just feels nice. I will say there was an issue I was running into with my MacBook, which I didn't even mention the last time I tried to record this, because I kind of didn't realize it was that big of a deal. But basically the pressure sensitivity was not working well on GIMP, which I wasn't sure why. And I kind of had to tweak it a little bit. On my desktop, it was like perfectly fine. I felt it was pretty good. I think the Windows Ink thing does a good job. But I don't know, I guess Apple's just kind of or I don't know, maybe it's the tablet drivers, maybe it's I don't know, it could be a lot of things. It's also partially GIMP, because problem is not as bad in other software like Krita and stuff, but it just GIMP, for some reason the pressure sensitivity would like be so light. It would like look like you're fucking like airbrushing something, kind of, I guess. It fucking sucked. I couldn't really use it. I had to turn the pressure sensitivity off and then it was fine, but like having to manually change the size of the thing, it sucks. I don't like it. So overall, I kind of found myself having a couple issues here and there, but I did feel like it was definitely worth the $40. It's not a steep price and does a lot to make the experience better. At least that's personally what I feel. It just works so much better. So I think it's definitely, I would say at least, it is definitely worth the $40, especially if you're doing digital art. Absolutely worth it. If you're doing pixel art, you can get away with mouse and keyboard for sure. But I just feel like it still is very useful. And I wouldn't be able to get a lot of the lines or a lot of the things that I do with mouse and keyboard as easily. I mean, I guess I should stop saying mouse and keyboard. It's really just a mouse, because you still use the keyboard, as I said. There's one of the things you kind of learn when you start editing or doing any sort of creative stuff is that keyboard shortcuts are really just your friend. I mean, even like in programming stuff too, right? Keyboard shortcuts are your friend in whatever IDE you're using, because it just saves you time from having to go through a bunch of fucking menus to do something, when you could just be like, instead of going over to the side and then pressing the thing so that you can see all the tools and then pressing like your pencil or whatever, you can just press the pencil button and it just works. It saves you so much time in the long run. It's kind of a huge deal. And I really think it is just an incredibly important thing to learn if you're ever doing any sort of creative work, if you're ever doing video editing or digital art. Keyboard shortcuts are just a must. You need to have you need to learn the keyboard shortcuts. I need to learn more keyboard shortcuts, to be honest, with a lot of things. But it saves so much time. It's really one of the biggest things that I learned. But other than that, trying to think, what else can I say about the tablet? I guess there is kind of the topic of screen tablets versus no screen tablets, or whatever they're called. I don't know. I've seen people talk about each online. I definitely know that it's harder if you're used to pen and paper. It's harder to get used to a screen tablet because it's very different. But I mean, for me personally, I didn't really care screen or no screen. What I cared more about is, this might not be something I'm really trying to get into, so I would rather just get something cheaper, and the no screen ones tend to be cheaper because not having to put a screen in it saves money, and they also do kind of feel nice too. So I find that it is important to make that decision early, but it depends on what you need it for. But if you're kind of in my situation where it's like, I don't really know if I'm interested in this, but I kind of want to try it, it's a good way to get started without feeling like you're investing a fortune into something that might not pan out. Because there was a chance I just tried this and I was like, maybe this art stuff isn't for me, you know? But I personally have really been enjoying it, and I've been getting more and more creative with the thumbnails over time. It started with those original just pixel art thumbnails of a couple different like shark reactions that I had. But then it kind of changed, because then I wanted to change up the style and make it more my own. And so I did that. And now I've kind of changed it even more, where I've been trying to make the backgrounds, which is not easy. It takes more time, but it definitely looks better and it feels better. And it's not just this weird gray background. It has personality to it, and it's something that I made, so it just kind of feels nice in that regard. I will say that it is a little time consuming sometimes, because I don't have that much time, especially like after I get home from work. depending on if I'm driving coworkers home or not. I get home at like 10:30 or 11 probably. And I try to go to bed at like 12:30 so I can wake up at like 8:30 or 9ish in the morning. And so by doing that, but with all of that, it's like, well, I need to eat something for dinner, which I try to make light, but not easy. And I try to work on this pixel art stuff and do some other stuff, try to get a little bit of writing done here and there. And it's just, it's fucking hard to juggle it all, especially because last night especially, I had extra time because I wasn't working. And I think it took me about maybe close to an hour to make the thumbnail I was trying to make, because I was trying to learn Krita, because GIMP just kind of sucks. Like, it is more of a Photoshop thing than it is a digital artist thing. But I just felt like Krita was better because, especially because, as I mentioned with the whole sensitivity thing, I still never got that fixed with GIMP. So I kind of just gave up on it, using it on my MacBook. And now that I'm using my MacBook more for this sort of stuff, it's like, what the fuck am I going to do about making thumbnails on this? So just started using Krita, and definitely feels like it'll be better in the long run. But I don't know that much. I mean, I still don't know a lot about digital art. It's mainly just I'm learning pixel art, and then I'm kind of fucking around with digital art on the side and learning that. I would like to make more digital art in the future, but for the time being, I've not gotten there just yet. There's a lot that I still need to learn. So, I don't know. Why do I always start yawning when I say I don't know? I don't know why that happens. I think this has probably gone on for long enough. I am gonna probably head home because I have work kind of soon, and I still gotta eat something before I go there. So I don't want to be starving to death in the middle of a shift, even though I usually end up doing so anyway. For some reason, my stomach has been pissed. Just keeps getting pissed at work, and I'm like, man, can't you just not? But overall, if you want my thoughts on drawing tablets, as someone who's not super into art, I still think it's pretty worth it. But I just would advise, if you know or you don't know that it's something that you're going to do, like if this is like your fucking dream career, and or just like your big passion that you like, then it might be worth it to go for something that is a little more expensive or more premium or whatever. But if you're really not that sure about it, it's a good way to get a feel for it. It's not expensive, works pretty well, and gives you kind of an idea of whether this is going to be for you or not. Which it has definitely made me go, yeah, this is kind of for me. I kind of like this. And yeah, I think I'll save the whole art thing for another time, because I was trying to keep this a little bit short, not make it like 3 hours or some shit. So I'll stick with the 30-ish minutes, I guess, for now. I was almost going to try to do 20 minutes, but that wasn't happening with like 7 minutes of me taking Pokemon Go gyms and all that. Yeah. Overall, I think I definitely would recommend it. It feels a lot better than I thought it was going to, and a lot more intuitive than I thought it was going to. And it still takes some getting used to, but it does feel fun, and I like it for the DS stuff too, as I mentioned. It's nice. Probably might also be okay for Wii games, but maybe not also, because you're kind of meant to be holding a controller while you're pointing, so don't know how well that would work. But I can definitely say that it was a decent purchase, and I almost considered buying another pen when I kind of fucked up the other one. Then I found out that there's like extra nibs, and I was like, oh, okay. Huh. Guess I don't need to buy a new pen. I think the price of the pen is like actually almost similar to the cost of the price of the tablet itself. It's like 30 something bucks. I think it might be like 32 bucks. The tablet's like $40, so it's like at that point I just buy a new pen or buy a new tablet, I mean, because I get a new pen with it. I wish I had a better place to hold the pen, I will say, because they kind of the quote pen holder is not really like the best for it. It just kind of like this little loop at the top that you're supposed to put the pen in, and I haven't been able to fit the pen in there, so I don't know. But still, overall, I very much recommend it. Good tablet. As I'll link a specific one below, and hopefully link that Will Hess video as well. It's more work for me tomorrow when I upload this, but oh well. I'll probably remember it. Surely I'll remember it. Surely. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. And I guess I'm gonna end things here so I can start going and getting ready for work, because oh boy, work. No, work will actually be fine today. I enjoy working with my coworkers, generally speaking, and I like talking to people when I have time, especially because late at night don't get that many people around, so you kind of just get more time to talk and whatever. So, but yeah, I will end this thing here, and yeah, I guess that's it.